How y'all bitch ass raised? I'm not raised like that. I don't go. I'm not going about my mama. I'm not going. So tell your ass mama dig her ass up and post a picture that look better than my mama. What's wrong with you? Y'all better tie y'all shoes. Y'all don't know who with. You better put that music up and shut the fuck up. Cause all that other shit ain't gonna get it. On my mother. Your mama. Dig that bitch up.
What happens when hip-hop trolling goes too far and family gets pulled into the fire? This week, the internet exploded after 50 Cent and King Harris, the son of T.I., went from social media jabs to one of the most personal exchanges we've seen in a minute. What started as a typical 50s-style troll post somehow escalated into dead parent references, AI memes, courtroom clips, and a full-blown generational clash. If you know 50, you know he doesn't argue. He trolls. He posts, he laughs, he drops a meme, and lets the internet do the rest. But this time, the response wasn't from T.I. himself. It was from his son King, and he came in swinging, hard. And once late mothers were mentioned, this wasn't just rap beef anymore. This became personal. Now the culture is split. Some people are saying King had every right to defend his mom. Others are saying certain lines should never be crossed, no matter what. Meanwhile, 50 is responding the way only 50 can, with jokes, movie edits, and that signature lol. So the real question is this just social media smoke? Or is this something deeper brewing between two rap legacies? If you think you know the full story, trust me, it gets crazier. Let's break this down. Before we even get into the explosion, we gotta understand how this whole situation actually started. Because like most things involving 50 Cent, it didn't begin with a direct threat. It started with a post. Now, if you've followed 50 Cent over the years, you already know his reputation online. He doesn't just respond to drama, he manufactures it. He'll throw a subtle jab, post a photo with a slick caption, and then sit back and watch the chaos unfold. That's been his formula for years. And somehow, it keeps working. This time, the spark involved 50 Cent, T.I., and T.I.'s wife, Tiny. 50 put up a post that many people took as a jab at Tiny. It wasn't a full diss track. It wasn't even a long rant. It was one of those classic 50 moves, a photo, a caption, and just enough sarcasm to get the internet talking. The tone was basically, keep my name out your mouth. But in that trolling, playful, aggressive style, he's mastered. Now normally, when something like this happens between rap veterans, it turns into either a back and forth on wax or a slick Instagram exchange between the two artists. But this time, it didn't play out that way. Instead of T.I. stepping up first,
it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and out back there, bro. This shit, I ain't just calling at the blue. Me and talk like this.
You talking about you with 50?
Yeah, man. We talk about this shit, man. This shit just come out of nowhere. We were moving around in L.A., man, selling some TV shows and shit while we were around each other, man. You know what I mean? I said, shit, what you think about that? He was like, shit, you want to do that shit? I said, yes. He was like, all right, cool. So shit. And I told him, I said, well, I'm gonna jump out there first, and then you just gonna jump out there and we'll line it up. And he said, all right. And when I jump out there, he act like he ain't know what's going on. Then that's what it was about. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's about, oh, you playing? Okay, you gonna play. All right, cool. But how about our love?
it was his son, King Harris. And that's when things shifted from competitive to combustible. King didn't come in calm. He didn't come in measured. He came in heated. He went live and immediately defended his mother, making it clear that he wasn't going to tolerate anyone posting or joking about her. From his perspective, this wasn't rap competition. This was someone disrespecting his family. And defending your mom? Most people understand that instinct, especially in hip-hop culture, where family loyalty runs deep. But King didn't stop at defending. He escalated. He brought up 50's late mother. Now let's pause right there. Everybody who knows 50's story knows about his upbringing. His mother, Sabrina Jackson, passed away when he was young. That loss shaped him. It's part of his origin story. It's part of the reason his persona is so hardened. So when King referenced 50's deceased mother, even posting imagery connected to that, It crossed into territory that many people consider off-limits. And the internet felt it instantly. Within minutes, social media was divided. One side said, King had every right to defend his mom. Don't start none, won't be none. The other side said, there are lines you just don't cross. Dead parents are one of them. But here's where it gets interesting. How did 50 respond? Not with anger, not with a long paragraph, not with threats. He posted a meme, a simple LOL. And that's what makes 50 dangerous in the digital era. See, a lot of people misunderstand his strategy. When someone attacks him personally, especially in an emotional way, he rarely gives them the reaction they're looking for. He understands something critical about the internet. Attention is currency. If he responds emotionally, he validates the attack. If he laughs, he flips the power dynamic. That LOL wasn't random, it was calculated. Then he took it a step further. He posted an AI-edited clip referencing the movie ATL, the film that starred T.I., and inserted himself into a scene that basically sent the message, "This is grown man business." That wasn't just trolling, that was layered trolling. He was addressing King without even directly addressing him, calling him a boy indirectly, suggesting that he stepped into something bigger than himself. And again, no anger, just humor. Now here's where the generational divide becomes obvious. King's response was emotional, direct, explosive. He laid out a long list of allegations and criticisms against 50. He went into 50's past controversies, his industry beefs, his legal issues, his relationships, everything. It was like he came prepared with receipts and grievances stacked up. That's the new generation style. If you're going to respond, you go all the way. You expose everything. You don't hold back. But 50 comes from a different era. He built his brand on provocation. From beefing with Ja Rule to trolling industry executives, he has always understood how to weaponize humor and indifference. He knows that when someone reacts loudly, the quieter troll often wins the optics game. And that's exactly what we saw happening. The louder King got, the calmer 50 appeared. But don't mistake calm for harmless. 50 has a history of playing the long game. He doesn't rush responses. He doesn't over-explain. He lets narratives build, then drops something strategic. Whether it's a meme, a caption, or a business move, he waits for the perfect moment. Meanwhile, T.I. is now in a complicated position. Because this isn't just another rap rival going at him. This is his son stepping into the arena with a veteran who's built a career off psychological warfare. And as a father, you want to defend your family. But as an industry heavyweight, you also understand the consequences of escalation. This situation sits at the intersection of three things: ego, family, legacy. For King, this is about protecting his mom's name. For 50, this is about maintaining dominance in the online arena. For T.I., this is about balancing fatherhood and reputation. And the culture? The culture is watching. Because hip-hop has always thrived on competition. But there have traditionally been unspoken rules. Certain topics were considered off-limits, especially deceased family members. When those lines get crossed, the energy shifts. Now, the question isn't just who won the exchange. The question is, what happens next? Does it stay memes and captions? Does it turn into diss tracks? Or does someone decide to step back before this goes somewhere irreversible? Right now, it's social media warfare. But in hip-hop history, we've seen online tensions spill into real-world consequences. And that's why this situation feels different. This isn't just veteran versus veteran. This is legacy versus legacy. Old school strategy versus new school emotion. And we're only at the beginning. Now, as the back and forth kept heating up, King Harris didn't just throw one emotional response and log off. He doubled down. And this is where things really escalated from trolling into full-blown character assassination. After 50 hit Instagram with that calm LOL and the AI-edited ATL scene, a lot of people thought maybe it would die down. Maybe King said what he had to say, defended his mom, and that would be it. Nope. King came back with a lengthy statement that read like a full breakdown of 50 Cent's entire career and personal history. He didn't just address the current situation. He went back decades. He brought up the fact that 50 was shot 9 times. He referenced old rap battle losses. He mentioned album sales comparisons. He questioned 50's street credibility. He brought up past industry beefs. He even referenced legal situations and personal relationships. At that point, it was no longer about Tiny being posted. It was about tearing down 50's image piece by piece. And here's where it gets interesting. Because whether you like King's approach or not, he clearly understood something. 50's brand is built on dominance, on being untouchable, on being the last man laughing. So King tried to attack the foundation of that brand. He framed 50 as someone who only applies pressure to women. He accused him of dodging real smoke. He questioned his authenticity. He tried to flip the narrative from 50 the master troll to 50 the hypocrite. That's a strategic move. Instead of arguing about a meme, King tried to challenge 50's entire reputation. But here's the problem with going that route. When you attack someone's full legacy, you better be ready for the counterpunch. Because if there's one thing 50 Cent has proven over the years, it's that he doesn't mind going nuclear. We've seen him dismantle careers. We've seen him turn beef into business. We've seen him troll people into exhaustion. And let's be honest, 50 thrives in chaos. Now let's zoom out for a second. This situation isn't just about 2 individuals arguing. It represents a generational clash in hip-hop culture. On one side, you've got 50 Cent, a product of early 2000s rap warfare. Back then, beef was strategic. You dropped diss tracks, you did interviews, you moved calculated. Social media wasn't the battlefield. Radio and mixtapes were. On the other side, you've got King Harris, raised in the social media era, where perception shifts in seconds, where Instagram Live is a weapon, where long captions, exposed receipts, and viral clips move faster than a diss record ever could. King's approach was emotional, direct, and relentless. 50's approach was detached, sarcastic, and meme-driven. 2 completely different styles of combat. And that's why this situation feels so layered. Because from King's perspective, this wasn't about clout. This was about family respect. He felt like his mother was disrespected publicly, so he responded publicly and aggressively. But from 50's perspective, this probably looked like exactly what he expected. A reaction. You have to understand something about 50. He studies psychology. He knows how people respond to pressure. When he pokes, he's not just joking. He's testing emotional control. And when King reacted explosively, 50 essentially got confirmation that he hit a nerve. Now here's where things get even more complicated. T.I.'s position in all this. T.I. and 50 have had competitive tension before. Versus battle talk, legacy comparisons, subtle jabs. It's never been all-out war, but there's always been that undercurrent of rivalry. So when 50 posted Tiny, it wasn't random. There's history there. But when King jumped in, it shifted the energy from rivalry to family defense. And that changes the stakes. Because now, if T.I. responds aggressively, it looks like he's backing his son. If he stays quiet, it might look like he's letting his son fight his battles. That's a tricky spot for any father, especially one with a public image to maintain. And let's talk about the optics. The internet loves drama, but it also loves picking sides. Some people are praising King, saying, "That's how you stand up for your mom. No hesitation." Others are saying, he stepped into grown man business and went too far, mentioning a deceased parent. And that phrase, grown man business, that's what 50 emphasized with that ATL edit. He wasn't just trolling. He was sending a message. You're not in my league. That's psychological warfare. Instead of arguing facts, he questioned King's maturity. And maturity is a powerful angle. Because when you're younger and emotional, the worst thing someone can do is call you a child. It minimizes your authority. It reframes your passion as immaturity. So while King was firing off detailed accusations, 50 reduced it to a meme. That's strategy. But here's the bigger issue. Once you bring up deceased family members, there's no clean reset button. Hip-hop has always had unwritten rules. You can diss someone's music. You can diss their fashion. You can diss their street credibility. But family, especially deceased parents, has traditionally been sacred territory. When that line gets crossed, things can escalate beyond entertainment. And that's why so many people are watching closely. Because while this is currently Instagram back and forth, emotions are involved now. Real emotions. And when pride, family, and legacy mix together, logic often takes a back seat. Another layer to this is 50's long memory. He doesn't forget who challenges him. Even if he laughs publicly, history shows that he circles back. Sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later, but he circles back. So while King feels like he put everything on the table, the real question is this round one? Because if 50 decides to respond beyond memes, it could shift everything. And here's the wild part. This whole situation started from a post that could have been ignored. That's the power of ego in the social media era. One post, one reaction. Now the entire culture is debating respect, boundaries, and generational rules. And we're still not at the end of it. Because when reputations are challenged publicly, silence rarely lasts forever. Now here's where this situation moves from just who said what into something bigger. Legacy. Because at the core of this entire clash isn't just a meme, or a caption, or even a disrespectful comment. It's pride. It's image. It's generational positioning. When you look at 50 Cent, you're looking at someone who built an empire off conflict. He came into the industry controversial. Beef was part of his marketing strategy. From mixtape battles to mainstream rivalries, he mastered the art of turning tension into attention, and attention into dollars. But here's the difference. When 50 came up, he was the young disruptor challenging the establishment. Now, he is the establishment. He's no longer the hungry underdog. He's a veteran, a mogul, a television producer, a businessman. And when someone from the next generation challenges him, especially someone who hasn't solidified their own legacy yet, it hits differently. Now flip that perspective. King Harris grew up watching his father, T.Y., dominate hip-hop. He grew up around platinum plaques, industry respect, and cultural influence. To him, protecting his family name isn't optional. It's expected. But here's the pressure that comes with that. When you're the son of a legend, every move is magnified. You're not just king, you're T.I.'s son. So when he stepped into this situation, he wasn't just defending his mom. He was stepping into a public arena against someone who has decades of experience handling beef. And that's a dangerous arena. Because social media doesn't reward logic, it rewards moments. 50 understands moments. A simple LOL can trend. An AI movie edit can go viral. A sarcastic caption can dominate timelines. Meanwhile, long rants, even if they contain valid points, don't always win the optics game. That's the chess match happening here. King attacked credibility. 50 attacked composure. King tried to dismantle history. 50 minimized him with humor. And in hip-hop culture, perception is power. Another layer people aren't talking about enough is emotional discipline. When someone disrespects your mother, especially publicly, anger is natural. Nobody questions that instinct. But when you're dealing with someone like 50, emotional reactions can become ammunition. Because 50 doesn't need to outshout you. He just needs to outlast you. That's been his strategy for years. We've seen artists crash out responding to him while he stays seemingly unfazed. Whether that's genuine or calculated doesn't even matter. The appearance of control is what shapes public opinion. And right now, the public sees King heated, 50 laughing. But here's the twist. Just because someone laughs doesn't mean they're unaffected. Sometimes silence is strategy. Sometimes humor is armor. And sometimes the quietest person in the room is planning the loudest move. Now let's talk about T.I.'s position again. As a father, your instinct is protection. As a veteran rapper, your instinct is calculation. If T.I. jumps in aggressively, it validates the conflict. If he drops a diss track, it reignites an old rivalry. If he stays silent, it might look like he's letting his son handle grown man warfare. That's not an easy balance. And remember, this isn't the first time 50 and T.I. have had tension. There's history there, competitive energy versus talk, subtle challenges about catalog and impact. So when 50 posted Tiny, some people believe it wasn't random at all. It may have been a continuation of long-standing competitive friction, but what makes this moment different is that the next generation inserted itself directly. That shifts the energy from rivalry to lineage, and lineage in hip-hop is sacred. When sons step into beef connected to their fathers, it becomes symbolic. It's not just about two individuals, it's about eras. Early 2000s dominance versus social media generation boldness. Calculated disrespect versus emotional transparency. Memes versus manifestos. And the culture is watching closely because we've seen where unchecked escalation can lead in hip-hop history. Now let's address the uncomfortable truth. Once deceased parents are mentioned, there's no such thing as just trolling. Even if the original post was a joke, even if the response was defensive, that line changes everything, and that's why so many fans feel conflicted. On one hand, defending your mother is honorable. On the other hand, attacking someone's late mother hits a nerve that goes beyond rap. So the big question becomes, what's the end game? Does 50 escalate with something bigger? Does T.I. respond musically? Does King keep firing? Or does everyone realize the optics are getting dangerous and dial it back? Because here's the reality. Social media beef feels entertaining until real-world consequences enter the picture. Hip-hop has matured. The audience is different now. Brands are watching. Partnerships are watching. Business interests are tied to public image more than ever before. And both 50 and T.I. have business empires to protect. That's why this situation is fascinating. It's not just drama, it's strategy versus impulse. It's veteran patience versus youthful fire. It's legacy protection versus legacy challenge. And if we're being honest, 50 probably understands one key thing. The longer this goes, the more attention it brings. Attention fuels relevance. Relevance fuels power. So the smartest move might not be the loudest one. It might be the most controlled one. Meanwhile, King has shown something too. He's not afraid of confrontation. Whether people agree with his methods or not, he didn't back down. He didn't stay quiet. He stepped into the fire. The only question now is whether stepping into that fire will elevate him or burn him. Because in hip-hop, moments can either build careers or define them permanently. And right now, we're watching a moment unfold in real time. The tension is there. The pride is there. The history is there. All it takes is one more move from either side to shift this from social media spectacle to something much bigger. And knowing the personalities involved, this might not be over. Now I want to hear from you. Did King Harris go too far bringing up 50 Cent's late mother? Or was he 100% justified defending his mom, no matter what the cost? And be honest, is 50 really unbothered? Or is he just playing chess while everybody else playing checkers? This situation isn't just gossip, it's legacy versus legacy. Old school versus new school. Emotional reaction versus calculated trolling. And depending on how this plays out, it could shift relationships in the culture for a long time. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. If you rocking with King, say why. If you think 50 handled it like a master strategist, break it down. Let's really talk about it. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next update. Because if this escalates, you already know we're covering it first. Stay locked in.